Give it a
Hi,
go.
welcome to the most recent chat with me, Kate McLaughlin, editor of Horsemanship Journal. I'm here today with the wonderful Cathy Syrett, author of Complete Confidence. And we're going to talk today about Cathy's journey, how the book came about, and where it's going and how it can help all you wonderful horse people. So, Cathy, good afternoon. Lovely to see you.
How are you, Kate? Good to see
I'm
you.
good. I'm good. It's nice to see your face. It's been a while, but yeah, no, it's lovely to sort of communicate with everyone.
Yeah.
So, and obviously great to have you here to talk about the book, obviously, which I have a copy of and I love. Can you tell me how it came about and what it's about and how it can help our readers and where you are in your journey? And yeah, let's just have a chat.
Well, I think it's quite an interesting journey, but then I'm a bit biased. So what happened was I've always worked in the corporate world. So I had 25 years of training, learning and development, working with people on their confidence and changing behavior, all that kind of stuff in the corporate world. And then in 2008, when I was away on a 6-week riding course, having spent my money and borrowed some money to do it, what happened in 2008? We had the credit crunch.
Yep.
And all the clients I worked with basically collapsed. It wasn't anything to do with me. I just want to make that clear. So I decided to take a step back, and it coincided with when my mum was diagnosed with dementia. So I decided to take a step out of the corporate world, and I was looking around for something to do. And a couple of friends who I knew through the horse world, because we'd done some Pirelli stuff together, and we used to talk about it, said, would you come and coach us? And I said, well, I'm not an instructor. They said, no, you don't understand. We don't have the confidence to go to an instructor. And I was like, oh, wow. Well, confidence coaching, I've been doing that at work.
Yeah.
So let me go. I said, I'll see. And so I started working with my friends. One of the other things that impacted me was that I myself have lost my confidence many times in the past. And I've been through lots of different ways of fixing it, all of which turned out to be Band-Aids on the problem. And it would just, I'd fix it in one place and it would just bolt off with another. So, and the key for me was when I found myself holding the lead rope of the safest, oldest horse in the yard, crying because I was scared of getting on him. So I'd sorted myself out. And then these friends said, well, we saw what you did with yourself. Can you come and do some stuff with us?
Because I think that's when I first met you, actually, it was 2008, because I was having problems with my confidence. So yeah, now I remember it.
That's right. And so I worked with my friends, and what happened was I found that with a lot of people, we were starting in the same place and going through the same things. And that became like a 5-step process that I was doing with people. So I started doing talks for riding clubs on that, and it went down really well, and people said it was great. And everybody said, you should write a book, which of course I didn't. Yeah, because who has time to write a book? I was too busy coaching and things like that. So I really enjoyed it because what I discovered actually was I discovered my purpose. There is no reason in the world why you should wake up in the morning scared of going to your horse. I want everybody who's got a horse to wake up excited and happy at the thought of being with their horse.
I'm grateful grateful to have that time with them.
That's it. Whereas so many people wake up and they feel sick, they feel scared, they feel anxious. And that's horrible. Horses are supposed to be where we go for love and happiness and connection.
Yes, definitely.
Not feel sick and frightened. So I carried on doing the coaching full time for about 5 or 6 years, and then was offered a corporate job again, which was working on e-learning. And I thought, well, I don't know much about that, so I'll go and do that job for a couple of years and get the hang of it, do the coaching on the side. And at the end, they very kindly made me redundant and gave me a nice package of money. So I took 6 months off and wrote the book.
Perfect.
So
I think sometimes life manifests that way, doesn't it? It kind of everything aligns.
Well, I'll tell you what was funny. I was sitting at home in my garden and my friend was with me for lunch, and she said, you need to write that book. And I said, well, she said, the universe is telling you to write your book. So the universe can give me the time and money to do it. And the next day, redundancy offer came across. All my colleagues were furious, and I was going, where do I sign? So now the interesting thing is the book doesn't just address confidence with horses. It addresses confidence, because so many times when I've worked with people, it's not about the horse.
No, it isn't.
a lot of it is about other things going on in your life that you need to also work on. I mean, I'm currently working with someone who, it started off working about the horse, but it turned into things about life, relationship, work. And so we've worked on that. So the book covers a lot of areas.
So when you found yourself writing and obviously developing it and bringing all the branches of your experience together, what was the next step for you? Because obviously your book has been out a while, and obviously I've seen you at various events pre-COVID where you've been promoting, and I know it's been really well received. I would naturally think, once reading this, you would then be the person I would contact to go, I need some help implementing this.
I would hope so.
And sort of moving it into a more practical arena.
Yeah, I think one of the things I tried to do in the book was my aim is that after working with me or a complete confidence coach, you can do it yourself.
Okay.
It's not about, you've got a problem, let's fix it. It's about, here's how to deal with any problem that comes up.
Okay.
So the first part of the book is that 5-step journey that I think you've read, where
we
take you through that, and that gives you the tools so that whenever you have a confidence issue, you go back to that journey, go through it, and you can do that yourself. So basically, I'm trying to put myself out of work. Not a good business strategy,
but yeah.
But anyhow, so the book came out. And what I found really interesting was a couple of people I'd worked with previously read the book and realized how much they'd learned from working with me that they hadn't noticed they'd learned. And they got in touch, and they are now certified complete confidence coaches.
Oh, fabulous.
So the focus we're now doing is I'm running a couple of courses a year where we take 4 riding instructors, riding coaches, someone who's already coaching, so they know the basics of coaching, so I don't have to teach that. And what we do is we certify them in the complete confidence approach, so they can add that string to their bow when they're working with people.
Oh, okay. So rather than it being it's a tool for already equestrian professionals out there helping their clients, it's another string, another essential part of the job, really, isn't it? You know, once you've dealt with the physical and the emotional.
That's it. So the level I'm kind of coming in at is working with those equine professionals, and also working with some of the more complex cases that perhaps come up where the confidence issue goes beyond just the horse interaction. Now, my certified coaches, I've got at the moment Debbie Riley in Hampshire, and the New Forest and Sussex Crichton Stewart are certified. They've integrated this into their horse practice, because in my view, for working with people with horses, you really want someone like us who understands people, understands horses, horse behavior, horse psychology, because the difference with confidence with horses is you've got the other living being interacting with you,
which is a really potentially dangerous living being. You know, sometimes, as you know yourself, it's not just about the human's confidence and the issues there. It's also about the level of training of the animal that they're dealing with. So it's having that multifaceted approach, isn't it? In one person.
Yeah, we were talking just the other day. We've got a new Complete Confidence podcast that's going to be launching at the beginning of September, where the certified coaches, we get together and we take a question each week and share our different perspectives on it. The last one we looked at napping. Because this is a classic place where the horse isn't confident, so he naps. And then the rider, if they're not confident, their confidence gets shaken, and we end up in that downward spiral. And sometimes the answer is to work with the human, but sometimes the answer is to work with the horse, and most times it's to work with both. So it's very important when you're talking about horses and your confidence that you acknowledge that there's 2 of you in the relationship.
Exactly. And that it is a relationship. It's a living, breathing being that we interact with. We're not dragging our bicycle out the garage, and
that's it.
Not that I do that. I don't cycle. You see me cycling, because I'm cycling fast away from something. But but it's having that duality, isn't it, to it? It's
Yeah.
having that.
Now, one of the things I found is, even after writing the book, a lot of people will express their concerns about their confidence, but they're also not very confident about moving forward and getting help.
Okay. Did they find themselves really stuck?
Yes.
Is it that real?
Yes. And it's, it's interesting, because what I'd like it to end up as is, if we want help with jumping, we get a jumping coach. If we want help with eventing, we get an eventing coach. If we want help with confidence, we go to a confidence coach. And yet so many people go, I've lost my confidence and I don't know what to do. And it's like, do you know what? There are 100 confidence coaches in this country who could help you.
Mm-hmm.
Not just me, although obviously I'd want to be your first choice. But but there are confidence coaches out there, but for some reason people find it very difficult to realize that, or to reach out. Whether it's something like the perception we have with getting therapy, if we're feeling down or something, we feel it's admitting a weakness.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just the same as it's learning a skill. It's learning how to be confident and sustain it. Same as learning how to jump 1 meter 30.
Well, I'm not doing that anytime soon either. Do you think, though, that it's fear? It's fear that puts you in that place. If you have a wobble with your confidence and you know it's an issue, the fear of facing it is paralyzing, isn't it, for some people? And it may be that cognitively, you know that there are excellent experts out there that can assist you and move you forward.
Yeah.
But it's not even a conscious decision. It's like, but you still can't move out of it.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. I mean, first of all, a lack of confidence is an unconscious thing. Lack of confidence is your unconscious mind trying to keep you safe from physical, emotional, or mental harm. So you'll be unconfident about making a presentation because you're scared of looking like a fool.
Mm-hmm.
So your unconscious is keeping you safe from looking like an idiot.
Yes.
Okay? If you're scared of getting on your horse and riding, your unconscious is trying to keep you safe from the physical harm of falling off, or the emotional harm of other people criticizing you. So it is very much about the unconscious. Fear is always our unconscious sending us a message about being safe or needing to be safe. And one of the things we know about fear is that when you're frightened, a lot of your brain circuits are blocked.
Okay.
Neuroscience shows that when you're frightened, a lot of your other conscious brain systems are blocked down so that your body can focus on that fight or flight response.
So almost like a paralysis, isn't it? You just end up.
Yes. All the
the
neurotransmitters actually go to where they're needed, which is the fight or flight areas, and they leave the conscious part of your brain, which could go, well, let's look at this rationally. Yes, I'm scared of falling off, but I fell off when I was 10, and now I'm a top-level rider, and it won't happen.
Yeah, but instead our brain just leaves the building.
Yes, and that is brain chemistry. That is neuroscience. That's what happens. It's the same as, when people go, it's unfair, and you say, well, look at it from the other person's point of view. They actually can't, because their empathy circuits are blocked in their brain.
Well, that's really interesting.
Yeah, the neuroscience is fascinating.
Which actually might make me more empathetic when people can't do that now. I'll be more understanding when they're being a bit blinkered.
And it's interesting because the neuroscience also explains a few things. So, for example, you know that the menopause is a classic time when we lose confidence.
Oh, excellent.
Yep.
I look forward to.
It's also a time when we lose our mojo, our motivation, and our joy. And all that is chemical. The lack of estrogen in our body means estrogen is a precursor for dopamine, and dopamine is the motivation chemical. Dopamine is that I'm thinking of riding my horse, I feel the joy of doing it. And so if that's missing, you think of riding your horse and you feel nothing.
Okay.
So it's a biochemical thing. If you're low in dopamine, get your blood tested, get a booster, you'll be back to having the joy with your horse. So one of the things I pride myself on is this kind of all-round approach to confidence.
Yeah.
It's not just let's do a pattern and block that, let's do a pattern and block. It's like, let's find out what's really going on here and find the answer that works for you using the process we've got.
Yes, just beyond the symptoms, because like you say, it's very easy to blanket things, isn't it?
Yeah. Can I share a story with you, Kate?
Of course you can. Yeah, that's what this is about. Share away.
One of the stories was someone who came to me, and she was very nervous about getting on her horse. And she said, I've had confidence coaching before and it didn't work. And I went, well, tell me about it. She said, well, my horse bolted with me. So I went and had some work because the memory scared me. So she said, I got over that. And when I got back on my horse, he bolted again.
Oh.
Because they'd fixed the issue of her feeling scared, but they hadn't fixed the issue of that was the horse bolting. And so this is why it's important that whoever you work with, and there are lots of people out there, so you can find someone who resonates with you, is that they find out what's actually the issue and don't just stick a band-aid. Because if they take away your fear, but the event's still going to happen, it probably isn't a very good approach.
No.
What you really want to do is, I need to know how to stop my horse from bolting, because that will give me real confidence.
Yeah, because I have the skills then to cope with it when it happens.
Yes.
And then further down the line, look at why the horse is bolting and then try and address that.
Yeah. So one of the things we work with is when we first talk to people is we use a confidence wheel.
Okay.
It's in the book. And we talk about this for sustainability as well. And we look at 3 different areas. We can look at knowledge, skills, and environment. So do you know what you're doing? Do you know why you're doing it? Do you know how to do it? That's the knowledge piece. I mean, we all know that it's inside leg to outside rein, but do we know why? Because otherwise we're just riding mechanically. And then when it doesn't work, we've got nowhere to go. So knowledge and why we're doing things is important for confidence. There's skills. I know a lot about a lot of things. Doesn't mean I can do them. So I might know theoretically how to ride a half pass, but I can't actually get my body to do what it needs to do it. And so I'll try and I'll fail, but that's a skill issue. If we improve our skills, our confidence will go up. And then about a third of the clients I work with, it's an environment issue, is a large role. And environment is people, places, and processes.
Okay.
Now, I'm sure you've been on a livery yard where the people have not helped your confidence.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so
and I think that's one of the things that's instrumental is finding it, because it's finding somewhere that suits your horse, because they're there 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
You're there a lot less than that, which means that you're compressing all the joy and fun and activity and emotion, good or bad, into such a small block of time that it naturally intensifies it through a lot of different personalities that may not get on, lots of different schools of thought, etc. It can be a cocktail for disaster. I mean, I'm very lucky now. I'm on a lovely, absolutely lovely yard and actually, incidentally, my confidence has gone through the roof. Being on a yard that works.
It's so important. It's so important to be in the right place. Now, I've had people who've taken their horses out of the yard environment and taken them home, and that's had a big difference. I've had people go the other way. We're going to a yard where they don't have to stress about the horse being looked after all day, has boosted their confidence. Yeah. But it's one of the first things we look at is what's the environment you're in? What's the place like? Does it suit you and your horse? What are the people like? Are they supportive, or are they going to erode your confidence? The other thing is processes that's important. Do you have routines that help you check out what mood your horse is in? Do you have routines and processes that help you check out what mood you're in, so that you both meet in a good place? So knowledge, skills, and environment are the 3 things we kind of start with to diagnose where to go next with someone.
Because I think we forget, don't we? A lot of us are working full time, or even if you're not working full time, you have family commitments and life and whatever else is going on. And life is stressful at the minute, and you carry all of that with you. You don't deal with it, and then you carry that straight to your horse. And it's sometimes a bit like adding wind to embers, and that's when things go wrong, and then it all becomes a spiral, as you say. Things are worse with the horse. Actually, it's how you're dealing with and having that awareness, because it's very easy to we're so busy. I need to get this done. I need to be home in time to get my kids dinner, and we're all living beings, and sometimes horses just aren't timetables, are they?
Well, I still remember the time I had a lovely chestnut mare, Gracie, and she came to me. And I remember once I'd had a terrible day, a bit like you're saying, And my head was full, and I went storming down to the field, and I got to the field, and she looked up at me and went, uh-oh, and turned around and walked away.
Brilliant.
And I took
She was like, not today. Nope.
I went away. I did some of my mindfulness exercises. I left my baggage at the gate. I walked in the field and sat down, and she came over to me.
Yeah. They're so receptive, aren't they? And perceptive.
Yeah. And so why would I expect my horse to carry my baggage for me?